In an effort to try and fight surging gas prices, lower record high gas prices, the Biden administration is reportedly reaching out to members of the oil industry about restarting idle refineries. The move comes as gas prices sit at a record high, an all-time high, headed into the Memorial Day weekend. The national average for a gallon of regular unleaded, $4.59 a gallon. Joining me now, American Petroleum Institute President and CEO Mike Sommers. Mike, I want your reaction first to this report, and it came from Bloomberg about the Biden administration and members of his team talking to the oil industry about restarting refineries.
Well, this is a real concern, Dagan. The United States hasn't built a new refinery since the 1970s, and there's one refinery in Philadelphia that never came back from the COVID decline in demand, and another one in New Jersey that's operating at about 50%. So we do need more refining capacity in this country because from pre-COVID to today, we're about 1 million barrels of refining capacity down on a nationwide basis. So we need more refining capacity in this country. But the real concern is the messages that we're getting from the Biden administration continually are divided. Sometimes they say we need to produce more, we need to refine more. But all of their policies continue to point to lower production here in the United States. We need a concise, solid message from the Biden administration to get production back going to where it needs to be.
Stay on refining really quickly. So you talked about that, particularly that refinery in Pennsylvania. Since December of 2019, the U.S. has shuttered 5% of refining capacity. That's over the last 2 years. 1 million barrels a day of refining capacity is now gone. What would it take to restart or to up the capacity of the one in New Jersey and restart the one in Pennsylvania? What's the problem there?
Well, we're going to need real regulatory certainty from the Biden administration. You can't, on one hand, say that the fossil fuel industry is going to end by 2030, and then on the other hand, say we need more investment in American refineries. Our producers and Americans don't want stranded assets out there. And if we're going to be making this so-called clean energy transition within the next 5 years, you're not going to get the investment that you need in American refineries. We know that oil and gas is going to be around as a base energy source for decades and decades to come.
Right.
But we need regulatory policies from this administration that actually advance that key priority.
Well, that's what I've never understood about this administration and the left. Natural gas is a clean burning fuel, and it was the shale boom and the fracking boom that helped us lower our emissions per capita to the lowest since 1950. And then, but now natural gas prices, because of the war on fossil fuels, have hit the highest level since 2008. They've tripled overall in the last year. And they represent electricity. Producers use 37% of the electricity production relies on natural gas. So your thoughts on these surging prices, and again, how is the administration hurting instead of helping?
Well, let me say something that might be controversial to some. I think that the most important environmental movement in the world is the American oil and gas industry. Mm-hmm. It is the reason why we've been able to cut greenhouse gas emissions over the course of the last decade, because we've been able to discover more natural gas, and natural gas was able to compete with coal as the primary source of power in the United States. And as you said, natural gas is 50% more clean than coal. What we're trying to do right now is trying to ensure that other countries can benefit from that natural gas resource here in the United States. We need to export that environmental progress because it is the way that the United States has been able to cut GHG emissions over the course of the last decade. We want to continue that environmental progress. But you're also right. We need an administration that can continue to support the American oil and gas industry, because we're still not back at levels of production that we were prior to the pandemic. We need to continue to produce because we're going to need these sources for decades and decades to come.
Mike Sommers, great to see you always, sir. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Dagan.